We have introduced cellular respiration in the previous lesson and the two types of it, aerobic and anaerobic. We have mentioned that this process is vital because it results with the formation of ATP, the energy molecule in our body. But how is ATP formed? To understand the process of cellular respiration in depth and how ATP is formed, we need to understand an important concept, which is the oxidation-reduction reactions. Though this is biology, but oxidation-reduction reactions happen also in our body and are important in the formation of our ATP. In this video, I will explain what oxidation-reduction reactions are in order for us to understand later how ATP is formed. Before we go through the oxidation-reduction reactions, let's highlight this. When an atom gains electrons, it becomes negative, as it will have more negative charges than positive. But when an atom loses electrons, it becomes positive, as it will have more positive than negative. Remember it like this: gain negative and lose positive. An oxidation-reduction reaction, or a redox reaction, is a reaction which involves the transfer of electrons. To help you understand this, take this reaction as an example. Note in this reaction the charges on the molecules. The question here is, which substance is being oxidized and which substance is being reduced? To answer this question, we need to get the oxidation number. This is very easy, as you can see in the equation. The oxidation number is simply the charge. So copper has +2 as an oxidation number. Magnesium is 0. Copper is 0 and magnesium is +2. Note copper changes from +2 to 0. This means that copper has gained electrons. So we say that it has been reduced, while magnesium changes from 0 to +2. So it has lost electrons and become oxidized. So reduction is gaining electrons and oxidation is losing electrons. Remember it by this: oil, oxidation is loss of electrons. Reduction is gain of electrons. Let's take another example. In this equation, we note that copper and oxygen are both neutral, but when they combine, they form copper oxide, which is an ionic compound, in which copper is +2 and oxygen is -2. This means that copper loses 2 electrons and becomes positive. It is oxidized, while oxygen gains 2 electrons and becomes negative, so it is reduced. Now we know that the addition and removal of oxygen is related to redox reactions. So when there is an addition of oxygen to a molecule, copper in this case, the molecule is oxidized. If the opposite happens in this reaction and oxygen is removed from copper oxide, copper would be reduced. So now we know that the addition of oxygen is oxidation and removal of oxygen is reduction. In the same way, removal and addition of hydrogen is also related to redox reactions. In this equation, note how when hydrogen is added to chlorine, it changes from neutral to negative. This means that it gains an electron and becomes reduced while hydrogen becomes oxidized. So the addition of hydrogen to a molecule causes the reduction of the molecule. Oppositely, the removal of hydrogen from a molecule causes the oxidation of that molecule. Note that when a molecule reacts with hydrogen, the number of bonds with hydrogen increases. So for example, if a hydrocarbon molecule reacts with oxygen, the molecule will have more carbon to hydrogen bonds. From all of these equations, we conclude that oxidation takes place when there is loss of electrons, loss of hydrogen, or gain of oxygen. Since there is loss of hydrogen, so hydrocarbon molecules will have less carbon to hydrogen bonds. On the other hand, reduction takes place when there is gain of hydrogen or loss of oxygen. Since there is gain of hydrogen, so so hydrocarbon molecules will have more carbon to hydrogen bonds. Remember that whenever a molecule is oxidized, another molecule is reduced. So now you understand the concept of oxidation-reduction reactions. Let's see how these reactions take place in our body. Cell respiration involves the oxidation and reduction of electron carriers. NAD and FAD are examples of hydrogen and electron carriers that accept the hydrogen atoms or electrons lost from molecules oxidized and may lose them again when other molecules are reduced. This means that in cell respiration, some molecules may be oxidized and others reduced. Whenever a molecule is oxidized, an electron carrier will accept the electrons or hydrogen atoms. And whenever a molecule is reduced, an electron carrier will transfer the electron or hydrogen atom. Join me in the coming lesson to learn more about the formation of ATP during cellular respiration and how some molecules get oxidized while others get reduced. See you next time.